5 boroughs. Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn. The modern melting pot of all cultures. So much culinary possibility. I want to tackle it all. Korean, German, Thai, Japanese, just to name a few. Welcome to season 1 of Frankie Cooks. Tonight, balsamic, gnocchi, calzone, fancy stuff on peasant bread, a fast car on the Autobahn, and I drop an eggplant.
Let's make a gazpacho. It keeps all the vegetables raw, and it's very, very refreshing. You don't want to use your heirloom tomatoes really for this. Anything on the vine is great. They're usually grown in a greenhouse, so they're good year-round. They're not too expensive. You just really need to cut it into small pieces, and while you're cutting it into small pieces, you might as well get rid of that little end nub, because it has a slightly off taste to it, I find. 5 tomatoes. We're gonna use half of one of those long cucumbers, or one regular one. We're gonna use half of one of these green peppers right here. This guy I don't really like to use. So this adds a nice crisp crunch. Now, very important, a clove of garlic. Nice big clove of garlic, or as much as you'd like, of course. A shot glass of almonds. Shot glass of olive oil. A little bit of pepper. Do a pinch of salt. That's really all there is to it. Now the great thing about throwing the almonds in there is that we can blend and we're still gonna have nice texture. That's it. Yeah, this is great in the summertime as an appetizer. It's always an interesting color. Throw a basil leaf on top. It wouldn't be completely out of line to put a little bit of some fantastic balsamic on top. Ah. There's your gazpacho soup. Or oh man. The garlic and the almonds, they both kind of in chunks. Such a great texture, so crisp. I think the pepper in there is fantastic. Takes 5 minutes. Can I start you gentlemen off with some gazpacho?
Yeah, I'd love some gazpacho. That's so clean and fresh.
Mozzarella di bufala, it almost has a skin to it. Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look on the tomato. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'm ready. Sweet, man. Real sweet. Tomato brings so much more flavor with this. This is the most flavorful tomato I think I've ever had.
Really? Yeah. It costs as much as the cheap tomatoes in the supermarket. It's just from the farmer's market.
The tip of my tongue is on fire. Really? It's spicy.
So too
I'm not
much.
getting that.
Not getting that.
I'm not getting that.
Oh.
I just got the basil and the balsamic perfectly proportioned. Yeah. Come on, you got it, man. Oh yeah.
You know?
This is seriously really good.
Hot summer rain. Comfort food wanted. It's too hot for meatloaf. Mac and cheese is overdone. I want winter food repackaged for the summer. Rainy day gnocchi.
Any potatoes, doesn't really matter. First thing you want to do is peel them. Now we're gonna cook. Ooh, that went in the bowl, did you see that? So I got my potato, my garbage, and my finish. 15 minutes. These are pretty small potatoes. This has been about 10 minutes, but you can see the fork pretty much splits the potato. Really the best way to do this is just to go right into a ricer. You definitely have to have an area and you have to be ready to make a little bit of a mess. Let's use like 1.5 cups of flour, okay? This is something you really kind of have to do by feel. Nice. Nice and hot. 2 parts flour to 1 part potato. Incorporate it. It's nice and warm. It's really nice feeling. Oh yeah. Well, at this point you can see not enough starch holding it together. I'm gonna put a little bit of ricotta in the middle. This is so we can use less potato. It's gonna help us bind. You work it too much and they lose their light fluffiness. If we take some and make a little ball, so we take our big piece, and I find often that they sort of split in the middle. Did you see that? And that's fine, let it happen. So I'm kind of pushing in the middle and coming out, yeah? Can you go to the width of a pinky? You can even use the back side of the knife, really. Well, these are really small. I would say that they're similar to the size of a penny. I just remember the very first time I made gnocchi, I made them huge, and it's just not good.
Buy them at the store and they've got those like ribs almost on them. What's that about?
Sure, I'll show you. Modified and unmodified. You take your gnocco, you just put it like that, and you just kind of thumb it off the edge. But I'm not into that whole thing. I'm using very little pressure. I'm just kind of using repetition here, because once again, I don't want to make them too compacted.
We'll come right back to this.
So we take off the prickly ends, and I like to use these graffiti eggplant like this because I find that they have a lot less seed, and less seed means less bitter. I mean, just look at the cross section there. There's like no seed. Now we're gonna broil them. The heat is coming from the top, so we'll put them skin side up. You don't need anything on them, and it's the easiest way to cook eggplant. It's so delicious, you're not gonna believe it. So you kind of literally wait until the skin turns like brown. They start sort of catching on fire and smoking. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. It's turned brown. I can smell a burning smell, and that's perfect, really. So let's get these guys out. The skin's sort of like crusted up. You know, it's very black. It didn't look anything like this when we started. They get pretty hot, as you can see. There's a ton of steam coming off of them. You know, here's the end where we cut off the funky stuff. So this is the uncut out end. And you can just with a fork kind of like hold this down, and then with a spoon you just scoop up the meat, really. That's it, that's all good stuff. Boom, and look at this, we're left over with garbage. Eggplant, garbage. Some cherry tomatoes. Some sea salt. Olive oil. You could put some raw garlic in here, but I was thinking, you know, we have that gazpacho from earlier. Why not just put a spoonful of that in there? Where is the gazpacho? Gazpacho as a sort of a garlic fill, yeah? Sweet. We're just gonna use a very, very little bit. I love to make my pestos with this. I throw this in the blender with a ton of basil and parsley and garlic and olive oil. A pesto also has nuts in it, usually pinoli. Don't have any, just gonna use some almonds. You can just hold your hand underneath and catch the seeds. You see that happened already. Oh, can you see the essential oils? Watch the essential oils. Do you see that? Shooting everywhere, up. Some red pepper. impossible not to make a mess cooking. I do want to break it up, but I still kind of want to keep that texture. You can see a lot of water's coming out. We don't really want that. Unnecessary. Oh, yeah. That's just so awesome. The smokiness from the skin that we removed that was burned under the broiler. We get a pan over here on high heat. Make these all at once. I'm just gonna show you a single portion right now. This is where the gnocchi really come into their own. Let it happen. Now we put it in here. Are you kidding me? Can be extra silly and put an edible flower right in there. What do you think? We're gonna roast these beets and then we're gonna make something from it. Literally, I mean, I just like to wrap them in tin foil, aluminum foil. I guess tin foil was never in my lifetime. So, $3.75. Okay, now these are scorching hot. I'm just gonna put them into an ice bath so I can handle them. Ooh, it's slippery. Just gonna break it up a little bit for the food processor. You can see that it's very cooked, yeah? 3 tablespoons of ricotta. Okay, so we got our frying pan on high. So I don't know, a lot of people like to do it in an oven. I've always been a fan of the pan. They like to toast their bread in the oven for bruschetta. I'm a toast in the pan kind of man. That's fine, just a little bit of toast. Now we can set these up. Eggplant pesto.
Cheers. Wow. Unlike any pesto I've ever tasted. You really taste the eggplant. Much lighter. It's so light.
I'm curious of what you think of the beet.
Should I be cleansing my palate? See you on the other side. One of those. I'm into that.
Yeah?
That's fantastic.
Put some flour out. I'd say that's a 1.5 cups or so, but you know, and then just have some water ready. Try and cup it in. So this is eggless pasta dough, yeah? What was that, like 3 minutes? All right, so our dough is rested. It's just flour and water. Take your wine glass and kind of just dip, 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 dip. You see that? Almost perfect. Now the fun part. Go really light on your filling here. You dip your pinky in the water, and you sort of make a smiley face. Fold over. Very salty water, like the ocean. So I took the liberty of heating up some plates. And these are ready to go. So some oil in a pan. This was 2 minutes. Just tossing them. Some poppy seeds. Oh, that one broke open, but look at how cool that looks. A tiny bit of ricotta salata, yeah. Some chive, and some orange zest. Look at that. Yeah. Buon appetito.
Man,
It's beautiful.
You know, the beets and the zest are fruity, and then the cheese brings it back in. Salata.
Beet is subtle. It's not like an overwhelming flavor, but then you got the orange, which really like brightens it up. It isn't overpowering. I've never had a ravioli like that.
Not good. Great.
New York is the biggest melting pot in the world, and it really all started here. One of the areas that's now gone is Dutchtown, or Little Germany. There's some beer gardens popping up in Williamsburg and over in Astoria, but I wanted to ask the question, is it all forced meats and beer?
Here, I stay until the last drop of beer is really in your mouth. Okay. Beer, and beer. This holds 30,000 crates and 3,000 kegs, as you see, which is stocked up. We have enough here. I think everybody's wish would be to be locked in here for a week, because I mean, you could survive and you have a lot to drink.
The thing we produce in 1 year is as much as Anheuser-Busch produces in 1 day.
So this is a dancing beer bottle, and you see the foam of the beer is coming out at the top because of joy and happiness. It must be possible somehow to create a bottle like that, and this is how we came up with the shapes. Yeah. Here, the pre-fermentation happens. That takes about 5 days.
And in there were 24,000 liters, and we just need like 12 kilos of hops to get the taste in there, the bitter taste.
You want to have a look inside?
Yeah, I do.
And there he goes.
This is the Zwickeltap.
That's the Zwickeltap.
And you have an apron. How do you say apron in German? Am Schütze. Am Schütze.
Schütze. Schütze. Welda is 200 years old?
Yeah. No, 255.
I feel like I'm in a Japanese hotel room.
This is, an old tank. And so shortly before the apprentice was, ready to become a brewmaster.
Yeah.
They locked him in, and then they started to fill this thing with water. Ice cold water.
Tell me what's here.
No, this is for the public viewing. We have the Soccer World Championship of Women. You can sit, you can chill, you have some really nice, really typical stuff.
What'd you get, Max?
That's the real Frankfurter.
That is.
This is very typical from this region here. You see? Apple wine. So, here, this is called Schäufelchen. It's a very special food from Frankfurt here. You only get this around this place. It's the ankle of a pig. The thing about this is this meat is very close to the bone, and therefore the meat is very, very tasty and has a texture that you will rarely find at other parts of an animal. And obviously we have a bed of sauerkraut below. This is something very special. It's called the green sauce. It has a mixture of 7 herbs that only grows here in the area of Frankfurt, Germany. Ja, okay. Da hätte ich gerne auch so, ja, 4 Scheiben. 2 mit. Wie viel das? Good old schwetzing in town, right? So Frankie, tell me, how's the sausage?
It's very good.
Take another bite. This sound is crazy.
From this one?
Yeah.
I mean, those are just those moments in life when you don't know what to say. Okay, let's see the next guy, what he does. Oh, that's a shame.
It's just, you know, a farm out here, and they have a little restaurant, and it's very typical food from here that they have. And we're gonna have some good stuff right now.
Go to the girls' bathroom. I went to the girls' bathroom. How am I supposed to know the difference between, how do you say gentlemen and ladies?
Mann und Frau. Männer, Frauen. Herren, Herren, Damen.
Da kam noch einer.
Oh.
But so this is actually Bavarian.
Yeah, it's Bavarian.
It's made with camembert and some spices and then mixed up. It's really good.
Is it meat? What is it?
No,
it's cheese.
it's cheese.
Yeah, it's cheese.
Like really? It's made with this camembert-like cheese.
Camembert?
French cheese.
Camembert?
Yeah.
These are liver knödels made out of liver. Very good, as long as you like liver. And this is a Saumagen, which that's really very special from this region. And you basically take a pork's belly and fill it with all this stuff.
Ich bin besoffen. Okay, then that.
Ich bin besoffen.
Yeah, that's
Mein
okay.
Deutsch ist like Laus Loose in London.
You know, for sausages, you use intestines.
Yeah, the casing.
Exactly. And for that piece of meat, you use the pork stomach as casing.
Great.
And then you obviously peel it off.
So yes, they have a lot of forced meats and beer. Not stuff that's easy to make at home. But check out this spätzel. We're gonna go for 150 grams of flour, which is about a cup. Equal weight in eggs. So if we scramble the eggs, then we can use a certain weight of eggs. 150, we want it to hit 300. Equal parts. Well, that worked out pretty well. And to that, about 1/6 of a cup of milk. About 40 grams. So you see why this is a great place to start your pasta making endeavors. There's no mess. Definitely don't use a whisk because it'll just get all stuck up in there. And you don't want to introduce too much air. In fact, the Germans slap the dough around to pop the air bubbles out. Do you want air in your spätzle? It's almost like a pancake batter. And that's sort of the wonderful thing about spätzle. It's between a dumpling and pasta, but in a different way than gnocchi. Okay, so we have a very, very smooth consistency here. And I just like to put this in the fridge, let it set up. Just like pasta, you want to use a healthy amount of salt. Tastes like the ocean. It's so thick that you don't have to worry about it going through the holes right now. Okay. Look at the plate underneath. Nothing. Okay? Just for precautionary measures. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is angle this and just keep sweeping like this. And pushing them through the holes. So spätzle means little sparrows because these look exactly like birds. All right, and now we fish them out and into the ice bath. First thing we gotta do is dry our spätzle. I mean, making pasta is fantastic and everything, but it's pretty involved. You need certain equipment, unless you're really good with the rolling pin. I mean, this you can just use a colander.
Pasta. What do you say butter in Italian?
Burro.
Burro.
You don't want to put too much in the pan because it'll steam rather than fry, so let's just do a small amount like that. Oh yeah, that smells great. Okay, so now we're looking for browning. Yeah, we're getting some color now. You could even mix in a little bit of Swiss cheese Okay, so herbed spätzel. It's like pancake meets gnocchi meets pasta. Very eggy, but delicious. I could do even more chive. And I think some Swiss cheese. Spätzle.
Hitting the 200. Frankie driving in the Autobahn.
There's just so much traffic.
Well, it doesn't seem very fast, but it's because all the other cars go really fast too.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, we're on 180.
And I have cars in front of me.
They're riding with you.
German kebab is nice. And it's very healthy. The Weight Watcher says it just has 8 points.
Schadenfreude is when you have joy about the misfortune of others. It's Schadenfreude.